Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a minute. I apologize for that. I'm still figuring out YouTube and my niche, so I haven't really had any ideas on what to make, but I am back with a new video. I think this one will be very helpful for anyone who is learning Japanese or is looking to take the JLPT exam, also known as the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I'm preparing for the exam this July of 2025 and what I'm studying exactly, what books I use, my study plan, and all the details. So let's get right into it. I apologize for the lighting, guys. I know the sun's like a little weird right now. If I move over here, I can't see anything. So I'm trying to stay in the shadow place, and when the sun disappears, it gets better, but when it's out, it's like a little bright. But anyway, let's get right into the books. So these are all the books that I'm using to study for the JLPT N2 exam. This is the Shinkansen Master series, and I got these books 5 years ago in Japan when I first applied for the JLPT, and back then it got cancelled because of COVID, and so I never ended up taking the exam. And now 5 years later, I'm like, you know what, let's get this done, let's get this certificate, let me brush up on my Japanese. It gives me kind of motivation to, brush up on kanji, on grammar, and on vocabulary, all that stuff. So I unpacked these books out of my drawers and I have sat down for the past 2.5 weeks already now, and I've been studying every single day, and I made a plan and I will share that with you guys right now. So because these books are separated into 5 different topics, I kind of go by topics. So we have the vocabulary book, which is Goi. We have Chokai, which is listening. We have, this one's Dokkai, the brown one. And then we have Bunpo, and we have Kanji is the last one, yeah. So personally, I don't really use this book, which is Kanji, because I study Kanji separately. I use the Anki app, and I just go through them one by one in flashcard style, which I used to use back in university when I was still studying them this way. So I don't really need the Kanji book. I might look into it just a little bit here and there, but I've seen like examples of what kanji questions will look like in the exam, and I personally don't feel the need to study from the book, because as long as you can recognize and read these kanji, you'll be fine. Like, the book's okay if you need a tool to study kanji, but I personally don't need it, so this one's not really used by me. Now, the other 4 books I have separated into, what day I do what. What I do is I study vocabulary every single day, even though I wouldn't have to, because I have like 15 weeks till the exam, and I could probably take my time more, but I just want to get through this. It's pretty easy to me, this one. Then the grammar, I try to do 2 to 3 chapters a week. Probably would be better if I did a bit more, but I also need to review the grammar, so that's one thing. And then for the listening and the reading, I just realized I'm pointing to the wrong books. This is the grammar one, Bunpo. And then let me show you again, and this is the vocabulary. So those 2 I do like every day or every second day. And these 2 are a little more complicated because you need to put in CDs literally to do the listening exercises for the listening book, which, as you can see, there's CDs in here. I don't have a CD player on my MacBook Air, so I had to buy one on Amazon, and the first one I got is not compatible, so I'm waiting for the second one to arrive now so I can do the listening exercises. These are pretty good in my opinion, like to practice. I heard that in the exam, you'll have like one chance to listen and then you move on to the next, and they can be tricky at times. I noticed, like, sometimes I'll feel like, okay, this made sense, but in reality, what matters is what they said at the beginning of the conversation when you listen to what they say, and not in the middle or at the end. So be aware of the listening exercises. They can be tricky. And then lastly, the reading exercises. These ones I struggle a lot with. I realized I need to study very hard for the reading part, because I don't really read a lot of Japanese texts that are complicated. I like text with my friends and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll read like a Japanese interview or something, but mostly I just watch videos. We all do that, like on social media, TikTok videos or Instagram reels or whatever. So reading like actually complicated texts isn't something I do on a daily basis, so this is really good for practicing for the exam. But I don't like that the layout of the test questions in these books are a little different than what they are in the exam, because I found out from another girl who took the exam. So basically in the test you get a whole text, you gotta skim through that quickly. Then you get a question like, what is the person trying to say in this text? And then you'll get like 4 answers, and you have to do like multiple choice. You have to choose which one's the right one. And I noticed that I'm really weak at it. Like, I need to up my reading skills, and not just reading skills, you have to really understand quickly what the text is trying to say. And apparently that first question that is asked, and where they say, what is the person trying to say regarding this and that, is already a hint as to where to find the answer in the text. And this book specifically does not have that. It just has the text and then 4 answers, and you just choose which one fits the text best, and no hints towards what could be the answer, where you could find it in the text. So it's not the best. I have, in the meantime, found another solution. So another book that I'm currently waiting for, I ordered it yesterday, is Nihongo no Mori, I think it was called, or Nihongo no Mon, or something like that. I'll blend it up in here. And that one has a lot of exercises. Another issue that I had with all of these books is that because I bought them 5 years ago and I already once studied for this exam, is that I already filled out half of these books. I can't practice, I need to practice for this test, and I can't do that with some of these, like the grammar book, for example. I've done half of it already. So it's not very good in that sense. There are some other things you can do. I personally like the Bunpo app too, because you can go through all the grammar sections in it, and it's really helpful if you're lacking explanations from the books, for example. So in the grammar book, I personally think there's not enough explanation as to what each grammar point is about. And the Bunpo app has these explanations that you're missing, and it's all in English, and it's very simple, and it's much easier to understand, in my opinion. So it's a good addition to the books. So basically, about my plan, once again, let's go back to that. The vocabulary and grammar I do every day or every other day with the grammar. Kanji I do every day. I personally try to study kanji when I commute, and I do it on the way to places. So I get that done during the day, and then when I come back in the evening, I'll study 1 to 2 to 3 hours my books and do what needs to be done that day. And then the listening and reading I mostly have been doing on the weekends, just because I personally don't feel the need to practice listening so much, but reading I will have to brush up more and figure out more how to do that. But I am waiting on that other book that will help me practice more, because I think it has more practice examples that you can fill out and get more exercises in than with these. So yeah, I'm waiting on that. I still have about 3 months to the exam, so I personally think that's enough time. I've never taken the JLPT before. We will see if I will pass, but I would like to pass the first time around. I don't intend on taking this exam twice, but you never know. I also tend to be that type of person that gets nervous on the day of the exam, and I can never really evaluate if I did well or not that well. So we will see what the results will be. So there will definitely be a part 2 to this video where I announce my results, and where I will tell you guys once again, maybe in summary, what worked the best when I was studying. But these are my biggest tips right now, and I definitely recommend you create a study plan so you can build it around your daily life, so you're organized and you get enough time to study before the test. With that being said, I hope this was helpful to anyone who's looking to take the JLPT exam, specifically the N2 one. I do think these books are very, very good. I just think there's a few things one can add, like the Anki app, Nihongo no Mori, I think it was, like I said. And I personally also use Bunpo. So there's a few little additions, to make the whole studying more smooth and just easier and efficient, I guess. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Ja ne!